Hello, everyone. Happy Friday. Well, it's Friday here in Georgia because I'm like, I'm 3 hours ahead of UK time. And today I'm actually going to make it a quick one because I do have to go to sleep. I have to be up at 6:30 tomorrow morning because I've got a huge tour. It's the last tour that I'm doing. And it's going to be a big one. So I've saved this one until last. I'm going to need my energy for tomorrow, so I'm going to make today quite a quick podcast. But thank you everyone for coming. As always, hit that thumbs up button and subscribe, please. If you are watching this and you still have not subscribed, look down below this video. If your subscribe button is red, please hit it. We are almost at 17,000 subscribers. So please do hit that subscribe button. Can I just say thank you, as always, to everybody who donates to the channel, especially the last couple of weeks. Something really funky is going on with the channel. Yesterday's video has been in review now since yesterday. This was the one about William partying and crowds failing to show up for his homeless project. They demonetized that video. There was nothing about that video that warrants demonetization. So I have no idea what is going on. But they've been doing this for the last couple of weeks, especially. So thank you as always for all of your extra support because it does help on days where they do stuff like that. Right. Let's see who's here. I think I saw see all the usuals. Oh my days. Hello. Stephanie, you have been missing taking care of sick folks. Oh, I'm so sorry. Hope they're feeling okay. Hi, Susie Q, Claudia. See if we can put any new names or names I don't usually see. Laris Fraser. I don't usually see your name. Obi Iwiori. See who else. Brenda Lawlaw. Coconut Vanilla. Are you a newbie? Or are you a silent one? I don't think I usually see your name. Yeah, William, when he sees my videos, if he sees my videos, I swear, if I ever find out anyone in that palace watches this channel, I will laugh until my final days. Thank you so much on my days. Yes. So what you're doing and hit that like button, please. Okay. Let's get into it. It's almost 600 of you in the chat already. So I'm assuming that all of the usuals are here. Wait, hang on a sec. Who just made a comment? Are you flying out on the 3rd? If so, we'll be in the air at the same time. Oh, are you flying out as well, Girl Lewis? Well, I'll only be in the air for about 2 or 3 hours, so Coconut Vanilla, you're a silent listener. Okay, well, welcome. All right, let's get to the slides, shall we? Start with some positive news. Netflix South Africa gave our girl a shout out. Somebody posted, Suits is really an awesome show with a fantastic cast. The things we do for Meghan. And Netflix South Africa responded by saying, yes, she's the Duchess of people's hearts. Very, very sweet. And, you know, Netflix, anybody who thinks that the deal with Netflix is going anywhere has lost their damn mind. I think that Harry and Meghan have more than proven their profitability. It was very disappointing what happened with Pearl, but you know, as always with production, it's not over until we go live, and who knows really what happened with Pearl or why they stopped production, or if they're moving production somewhere else, or was that just a part of Netflix's overall strategy? They cut quite a lot of animations, but I think they'll be looking at that perhaps and seeing what a mistake it was. But hopefully we will get to see Pearl or like at some point somewhere because it sounded like an awesome show. Also in the UK, this was happening. I'm sure we're all familiar with the Kents, Prince Michael of Kent and Princess Michael of Kent. Princess Michael of Kent is the more famous one because she is the one who showed up when Meghan went for family dinner with them unroyal relatives of hers, and Princess Michael of Kent showed up with a blackamoor brooch for dinner with Meghan. She is also known to have made bigoted comments before. It's rumored that she has a two black sheep pepper shakers, salt and pepper shakers that she calls Venus and Serena. And there's been quite a few stories about her. Well, the husband was out and about in London, and Mr. Adam Hay Nichols claims that he heard Prince Michael of Kent talking to police officers saying, "Don't you know who I am?" No, sir, he probably didn't know who you are. Most people actually don't know who most of the minor royals are. And a question that I have, that looks like, I don't know what model that is because I can't quite see the logo. I don't know if that's a Porsche or maybe a Bentley. I'm not sure, but that's a pretty posh and shiny looking car. And my question is, how did he get the money? Actually, no, I think that's a Mercedes. I think that's a Mercedes. How did he get the money for this car? Where did he get the allowance for this car? Still selling cash for honors? Let's go to comments. Cinderella, Anne, have you said where you're headed next? No, I haven't yet said where I'm headed next. Girl, it's 24-hour flight. Oh my gosh. Oh yeah, because you're flying from Australia. You live at the bottom of the planet. Yeah, that would make sense. My gosh. Do you know what? I've sometimes when I'm looking for cheap flights, like obviously when you have more layovers or changes, it gets cheaper. But I've kind of figured out it sometimes it still works out to the same because you're buying food and airport food is expensive. If you've got a really long layover, then you might still be tempted to check in to one of those airport hotels. So I've just found that it's worth just paying the extra to get somewhere faster. But if you're coming all the way from Australia, I don't know how much faster you can get to Italy. Well, I'm wishing you a comfortable as possible flight. Make sure you take your flight cushion and maybe some melatonin, help you sleep. Oof, good luck. Cinderella, no, I haven't not said where I'm. Oh, sorry, did I read that comment already? No, I haven't said where I'm traveling next. You'll find out when I get there. Lesso, you said I am Trinidadian living in the US. I've been a squaddy since Tina and Michelle. Fantastic. It looks like a new Jaguar. Yeah, where did he get the money for that? We're gonna get into the money very soon. Princess Michael has many written books. Okay, I'm gonna check her her Amazon sales dash the ranking because I've never heard of her. I know that she has books, but I've never heard of her being a bestseller. And you got to sell a hell of a lot of books to be able to afford a good lifestyle. I can tell you personally, I'm a self-published author, so I don't even have a middle person like an agent or a publishing house taking a cut. And even I still don't make a living enough just from my books. I probably make about £2 per each sale of a print book. I make about 35p per sale of a ebook, but that's only because my ebook is at 99p at the moment because we've been in the pandemic. I'm gonna put it back at full price, but even then, if I sell it for like 9.99, I'm maybe making like 70%. So whatever she's making is definitely not enough to afford the lifestyle that they're living, is what I'm trying to say. Tanya, did William and Kate not make a deal with YouTube? I wouldn't be surprised if YouTube would be persuaded by some royalists to try and disrupt this community. I wouldn't be surprised either because I find it very weird, especially in the last few weeks. And it's on videos where really it does not warrant flagging the video. And most of the time, after maybe it depends. Sometimes it's just an hour. Sometimes it can take up to 3 days. Like the video I did about the motorcade accident with Sophie, that took almost 3 days to review, and there was nothing in that video that warranted censorship. So yeah, it's very annoying. Swiss bank accounts. Definitely Swiss bank accounts. Why Swiss bank accounts? Hope's Garden, the people. Who are the people? Do you think he's getting money from Charles? I mean, I'm sure he is, but enough money for a car like that? Okay, next thing, let's speed it along. Yeah, there was a squaddy who got very creative and made end of 2023 Royal Bingo. Now, I am actually going to be keeping an eye on this. In fact, I might make it a highlight on my Instagram and see if we do get a full bingo by the end of the year. So, Camilla attacked by the press. So, perhaps some briefing from KP. I think that could be possible. Piers Morgan found guilty. I don't think that's going to happen in 2023. Maybe 2024. It depends, because he hasn't even been. He'd actually have to be brought to court, have to defend himself. But this week, it would appear that Piers Morgan is feeling very confident. He had a coon, a Mr. Is it Mr. Trevor Phillips, come on his show, and they were talking about Meghan and Ray's, just the usual clickbaiting. I just couldn't be bothered to cover it on the show, and I'm not going to. But it seems like he's back in his stride again. Maybe he's confident that he won't get called to the courts, because I don't understand why at this time in particular he would be talking about Harry and Meghan at all. But it would seem at the moment his focus is mostly on Meghan. I don't think he's actually really mentioned Harry. It's mostly gone back to Meghan. And there also seems to be this effort this week from the UK media to bring back the conversation about the comment that was made about Archie's skin color. It's like they just recycle things over and over again and hoping that it will stick. In fact, I was listening today, Spaces. They had it was one of these morning talk shows. And I'm honestly starting to think that some of the people that come on these morning talk shows, especially when it comes to Harry and Meghan, they are 100% planted and paid. You had a woman who claimed to be Nigerian and who had family in Nigeria, trying to say that, oh, everyone who has a mixed race family, they ask about the baby's skin color. And then you also had a Caucasian man who claimed to be married to a Jamaican woman and have several mixed heritage kids, also playing kind of like the same card. And I just find it interesting that they've brought this conversation up again. And why? Why now? It's the same thing that they do all the time. If it's not this, it's something else, like the bullying rumors. You can absolutely bet that at some point they will bring back the bullying rumors. Never mind that we asked for the report and the report was not given because the bullying rumors were fake. Or they'll bring back the Saudi earrings. Or they'll bring back something else. Anyway, I went off on a tangent. Piers Morgan has been out and about again. But I don't think that he will be found guilty this year. Maybe next year if we're lucky. Next bingo. Terribly received royal tour. Well, Kate and William are scheduled to go to Singapore. So it's technically not a royal tour, but they will be going to a foreign country. And this is obviously for Earthworm, which was not received very well in Boston. Homelessness project fails. Well, here are the crowds. As we can see, William is like Beatles mania for William. So I guess we can actually cross that bingo off. So we've got at least one. The next one is Rupert Murdoch is unalives. Rupert Murdoch unalives. I mean, the guy is old, so maybe. A tabloid goes down. Maybe, perhaps the Mirror. If Harry wins his case, I think that might happen in 2023. William exposed for cash silence from Rupert Murdoch. I mean, I guess that's kind of already happened, but I think there's more to that story that we haven't heard. So I think we'll hear more about that story. Rose and William photo. What do we think of this one? Do we think we'll get a Rose and William photo? I mean, there is something in that super injunction that they don't want us to see. So, William and Rose photo? Perhaps. More evidence against Andrew. I mean, I don't know what else there is to come out. But maybe new secret weapon. Oh, we apparently have a secret weapon. Apparently it's Edward. Listen to this. I mean, you know that your royal PR is getting desperate when you've got this.
He was the royal who stumbled in the shadows.
Edward couldn't hack it in the Marines.
Now centre stage.
Very hardworking.
He really is part of the core team now.
Can he lead the family away from scandal and controversy? Prince Edward, will he change the royals? Saturday at 9:15 on Channel 5 and My5.
Listen, I don't want to throw any shade to Edward. Shout out to Edward. I hope Edward is doing okay. But come on now. I remember I was in the car once and I said to my dad, name all of the royal children. He could even name Anne. He did not know Edward. I mean, try it. Sorry, I just saw your comments. Try having a conversation with someone, anyone, and just say to them, name all of the Queen's children. And there's actually a good chance if they're able to name most of if they're able to name Anne, they're able to name Charles. They probably can't name Edward. I mean, I actually had someone I'm seeing your comments. Yes, Cinderella, they're getting desperate. I actually had someone say to me once, they thought that Charles was the Queen's husband. They thought that Charles was the Queen's husband. And I remember the conversation now because I said that the Queen's husband had died. And they said, oh, Charles has died? I said, no. Philip has died. Who's Philip? Philip was her husband. Oh, I thought her husband was Charles. Like, a lot of people don't even know who these people are. And apparently Edward is going to be... Yes, Leslie. What a load of hooey. Apparently Edward is the new secret weapon. Rahini, I feel squaddies if you put out a bounty for pictures of Rose and William, we might get it. Oh yeah, the same way they put a bounty on Harry and Meghan's heads for New York. Yeah, I think we should do a fundraiser. Anyone who can get a picture of Rose and William, because I've heard that they're even going out for lunches out in the open. That it's like an open secret. So surely somebody at some point has got to get a picture. Well, I think this picture's out there. That's what the super injunction is for. Oh, we've got Simone Coralita, new member. Welcome to the asylum. Thank you so much. Julia, I didn't know Edward had a son until the funeral of Philip. Neither did I. I thought it was just a daughter that they had. Yeah, hashtag Edward saved the royal family. Listen, no shade to Edward. I think it's actually kind of sad they're doing him like that. Edward, if you're listening, we hope you're okay. Okay, next one. More eggs. Yes, more egg throwing. The egg throwing seems to have gone down. That might have something to do with the cost of living crisis, but there seems to be less egg throwing. There was a lot of egg throwing in the lead up to the coronation, and not so much now. Divorce rumors of William and Kate. Well, they've been swirling for a while. Commonwealth country to leave the union. Well, that's already underway. Jamaica's leaving, and the others are talking about leaving. Kate finds her stride. She seems to do that every year. She has like a keening season towards the end of the year where she's keen to do something. I haven't heard any updates about Shaping Us or any of that stuff. So yes, I'm sure Kate will find her stride in yet another project. Dan Wooten's sad little rant about Sussex success. I'm going to change this one to Dan Wooten gets exposed. And the last one, early years project doesn't gain traction. Yes. Well, I don't know whether it's early years or Shaping Us or whatever it is now. All right, we'll get your comments and then we'll get on to this article that Omid wrote. Omid has a book coming out, by the way, November 2023. And you can pre-order it now. Why am you have an AI version of Will sniffing in some rose bushes if anybody wants it. Oh gosh. Yeah, the AI is getting a bit out of control. Starting to look real, real. Yes, on my days, keening season. It's a thing. Every year, Kate is keen to do something after almost a decade of being a working royal. Right, let me find this article from Omid and let's have a read about what he has to say. Okay, Omid says King Charles deserves to be scrutinized as heavily as politicians, just like Harry and Meghan were. At a time when more people are questioning the monarchy, the need for spin free. Oh, this is behind a. Hang on a sec, folks. This is behind a paywall. Let me see if I can just get past this paywall. Give me a sec. Um, let's see if this works. Is it going to work? Yes. Okay, fantastic. It's hard to believe that this time last year, Charles, the then Prince of Wales, was still weathering one of the worst storms of his royal career. Career with a very small c. Thank you also for the super sticker, Coralita. Thank you so much. Much appreciated. Okay. Explosive revelations from a top political editor had uncovered dubious financial contributions being made to one of his charities, leading many to question the ethics behind millions being raised. You know, when I speak to most people from the UK, I honestly think they're either completely unaware, even though it's not reported on that widely. And it's like most people are just like unaware or kind of just like, oh, royal dodgy money. Like that, to me, anyway. Maybe somebody else from the UK can chime in on this, but I don't see that there's actually a lot of outrage to the fact that Charles has so many dodgy money links. I just don't see it. For the late Queen's son, the stories threaten to stain his own legacy and bring shame to the institution of the monarchy, particularly when a palace aide was forced to publicly pledge that Charles would never again accept bags of cash to his charities. Yes, he will never again accept bags of cash. He is now coming into the new modern age and will be accepting Bitcoin, Cardano, will even take some Shiba Inu. Please send Charles some coins to his crypto wallet. No more bags of cash. I still cannot believe in this age of cryptocurrency, he was walking around with bags of cash. Who does that? Truly out of date. The previous year, another scandal, this time involving one of Charles's charities and a Saudi billionaire, resulted in an investigation being launched by London's Metropolitan Police Service, in which two men were questioned under caution, and yet follow-up coverage of both the monarchy's Prince Foundation donation saga, particularly from the majority of the royal press pack, has been virtually non-existent. Exactly, and outrage from the UK public has been virtually non-existent. While there has been little new information from authorities, a lack of updates has never usually been an obstacle for individuals on the royal beat. The months this year when the Duchess of Sussex had not been seen or heard in not been seen or heard in public, certainly didn't stop dozens of stories being written about her every day. This exactly. Meghan can disappear, there's still 100 stories. Charles is running around taking cash bags, no stories. The king, whose foundation has been caught up in a criminal investigation, on the other hand, curiously hasn't appeared to evoke much interest from many of those who dictate their lives to covering the royal family. Even in the lead up to Charles's coronation last month, the likes of the Daily Mail, Telegraph, and Daily Express dedicated countless pages to lengthy, praise-filled profiles of the new monarch. There was hardly a mention of the scandal that he had been apologizing for just 70 days prior to becoming king. Did he apologize? I don't actually remember Charles giving an apology. Did I miss that? I don't. Does anybody remember an apology? I mean, if there was an apology, it just tells you how quiet they are about these things. Because how did even I not hear that there was an apology? And I'm on these royal streets every single day. Anyway, This is nothing new. Though heavyweight scoops about the members of the family are still broken by other sections of the media, royal journalism, the regurgitation of press releases, and steady supply of briefing memos sent out by royal aides, has become the tried and trusted reporting style for a number of royal correspondents when it comes to protecting precious relationships with those at the palace. Not wanting to bite the hand that regularly feeds is why those with some of the deepest access and strongest relationships are often the ones sharing the least. And that's exactly how palace communications aides would want it. The nature of these relationships has created a beat where impartiality, though often claimed, is rarely a reality. Being critical or negative in one's reporting, when necessary, would ultimately mean risking those precious relationships. So, impartiality is usually flexed in another, more easy ways, namely focusing on stories about royals that won't damage relations with the palace. For the past 4.5 years, that risk free option has been the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, whose unpopularity behind palace walls as working royals and now their autonomous life in California has made them easy fodder for more critical coverage. It's why staff turnovers at the Sussex's arch-royal business continue to be prime tabloid ammunition, and why Kate, the Princess of Wales, hasn't had to face many questions about the five if you count one who accepted the job and mysteriously changed her mind, private secretaries who have worked for her for the past 6 years. Why she hasn't had to face questions about that. And it's why the story of that paparazzi car chase in New York was furiously poked for holes within minutes of it breaking. But coverage of Sophie, the Duchess of Edinburgh's taxpayer funded motorcade tragically taking the life of an elderly woman, hasn't been the focus of dozens of opinion pieces. That exactly. Those who have dared challenge the system have certainly paid the price. I have known journalists in the past who have been removed from royal email lists or media briefings after publishing stories or books that the firm didn't like. For me, who also spent years dancing the palace dance for access and perks, my first major punishment came after the release of Finding Freedom, a book that told the inside story of the Sussex's royal departure. Sources told me that Prince William was so incensed by my revelations. Oh my God! William was incandescent with rage at Omid. Sources told me that William was so incensed by my revelations that his Kensington Palace team had given negative information to favoured journalists about his brother that he wanted me barred from his engagement. Yeah. William was incandescent with rage at Omid. But in order to tell a full story, it has to be written without fear or favor, regardless of the consequences. It's one of the reasons why I spent the past year writing my book, Endgame, an unfiltered investigation into the current state of the royal family, at a time when more people than ever are questioning the relevancy, purpose, and role of the monarchy in modern Britain. The need for thorough, spin free, and well rounded insight and reporting has never been more important than it is now. Absolutely. As well as speaking with those involved in some of the most defining and controversial moments in recent years, the book also brings new details on unsolved mysteries, as well as stories you'll be reading about for the first time. Ooh. Of course, not all scandal. There are also some great things coming out of the House of Windsor right now. The launch of William's ambitious plan to find solutions and eventually eradicate homelessness is bold and important. Yes, William's going to spend 3 million on tents to build a tent city to house the homeless. Because what is 3 million gonna do? Please. And Kate's early years work, something that initially looked like a vanity project, is now slowly beginning to have real impact. Child, please. With the Royal Foundation's recent funding of a trial model that assesses babies' well-being and happiness. But okay, so I never actually reported this story. I saw it, but what Omid is referring to is the Royal Foundation. I think they've commissioned this study at the cost of something like £50,000 to assess babies. Studies that are probably already being done by health professionals. and scientists. So why does the Royal Foundation have to spend that £50,000 on a study? Why not spend that £50,000 where it's needed the most? Give it to mothers and families who are struggling. No, we're going to spend it on a study. Like the NHS, like the government isn't already doing studies on babies. But to report on the positive, you can't ignore the negative. Endgame not only looks at the successes of our royal family, but also the failures, the things to be proud of, and those they should be ashamed of. Precisely because this is an establishment that sits at the heart of our society and a family that has often been held up as role models of civility and decorum, it's more important than ever we can take an accurate look at whether it still holds today. Just like the country's politicians, the royals are not and should not be above reproach, no matter how desperately certain press secretaries may want you to think so. Endgame, Inside the Royal Family and the Monarchy's Fight for Survival, is out on the 21st of November and available for pre-order now. There you have it. So it sounds like it's going to be a very interesting book. And yeah, I look forward to seeing whatever interesting revelations Omid has. Right, we'll go to comments. Um, Thank you so much to Lorna for the super sticker. Very much appreciated. Thank you. 1,100 of you in the chat. Thumbs up, please, if you haven't already. Okay, let me speed through because it's running late now. A lot later than I actually wanted to finish at the 30-minute mark because I need to go to bed. Right. Let's have a look. Yeah. William was incandescent with rage. Oh my god. Okay. Jane, Omid will need divine protection when this book is released. The royal family will come after him for sure. I mean, they're probably already coming after him now. Why am trying? Does garlic repel these people? I mean, it might repel Camilla because look at how witchy she is looking in this photo. I'm looking at our dear young Prince George here. Somebody please tell the royal children that if Camilla hands you an apple, please don't eat it. Dorothy, you said these studies have been done and the solution is out there years ago. Exactly. And I'm pretty sure scientists and healthcare professionals and people who work with children and babies are scratching their heads going, excuse me, what are you talking about? £50,000 for what? Research on babies for what? Okay. Next thing. Yes, the duchy and royal finances. So, despite us being told that we are getting a slimmed down monarchy, royal finances have shown that spending almost doubled. Now, I'm sure their excuse is going to be, well, we had the Queen's funeral, we had a whole coronation, we had Charles's first trooping, and to that I would say there was nothing stopping you from having a scaled down event. But oh no, you had to have your pomp and pageantry still, and here we are spending more money in 2023 than we did in 2022. So you can see here, so this is year ending March. Housekeeping 2022, 1.3 million. Y'all, do you know what a luxury it is? Even just to have a house cleaner come and clean your house just once a week. Even on the cheaper end, that might cost you what? £90? 90 to £100 a week to get like a good cleaner. They spend 1.3 million on housekeeping and hospitality. But in 2023, we're looking at 2.4 million. That's up almost 84%. Utilities, 2.3 million in 2022. Went up to 4.5 million in 2023. Other staff costs, 3.8 million 2022, almost 5 million this year. Digital services, 3.2 million last year, 4 million this year. Does digital services, does that include bots? Does it include bot farms? Does it include new editors to film all those slick Hollywood style reels that we've been seeing from the Raw side now? Property maintenance. Okay, so property maintenance was down from 63 million to 57 million. Is that maybe because Charles turned down the heating in Buckingham Palace? Remember that? Charles turned down the heating. So maybe that's why property maintenance was a bit cheaper. And then other additional costs were 3.5 last year, and now they were 8.3 this year. So that's your slimmed down monarchy. Now we'll see if that is any lower next year, because you're gonna have the transition for the rest of the year. So they can't have an excuse next year as to why, if it does, if spending goes up, because ideally it should now go down starting from 2024, because you've had your coronation, you've had everything that was going to cost a lot of money, you've had the funeral, and you're saying that we now have a slimmed down monarchy. Look at this picture right here. Does this look like a man who's going to end homelessness with all those robes? Right, and then what's even more interesting about this is that, let me just pull this up. They are saying that yes, William will not publish an annual report of how he is spending the duchy's income. So this is from Celeb Bitchy, our friend Kaiser. So they wrote, Prince William became the Duke of Cornwall the moment his grandmother passed away and his father became king. With the Cornwall title comes the spoils. The Duchy of Cornwall is a $1 billion real estate portfolio which operated as a straightforward business when the then Prince Charles held the Cornwall title. I believe for some time that Charles took pains to William-proof the duchy so that the heir wouldn't run the duchy into the ground and that William couldn't loot the funds for his own schemes. Well, as part of the Windsor's annual financial disclosures and sovereign grant reporting, we now know that William doesn't want to disclose much about what he's doing with the duchy money now that he's got his hands on it. From the Independent, duchy money. Prince William received a private income from the Duchy of Cornwall of nearly £6 million this year, but was criticised for not publishing an annual report in his first year as heir to the throne. The duchy generated record profits of 24 million in 2022 to 2023, up 1 million from the year before, a jump of about 4%. The estate's own accounts showed. Usually, William would be entitled to the full 24 million as his private income. 24 million as his private income. But his finances have been complicated after he became heir to the throne halfway through the financial year. The king, as former Prince of Wales, was entitled to 11 million of the surplus before his accession, while William, who spent 6 months of the final year as the Duke of Cornwall and Prince of Wales, to 12 million, Kensington Palace said. The annual figures were published on Thursday. In the same week, William launched Homewards, the 5-year drive to eradicate homelessness. So we're going to eradicate homelessness by while we're taking 24 million a year of private income. His 5-year drive to eradicate homelessness in 6 locations across the UK. As the Prince of Wales, Charles released a separate annual Clarence House review each year, detailing his broad income and expenditure of the duchy money. But Kensington Palace said that the rest of the year had been transitional, one following the death of the Queen and such they would not be releasing a report this year. William's first as the heir apparent. Their Royal Highness have been working through their duchy and household team, their plans and priorities for the duchy and household in the years to come, and how these support their work and charitable priorities, such as the Royal Foundation and its programs. A Kensington Palace spokesperson said, and it's why the household is not publishing a partial annual report. In conclusion, they don't want no one to know about whatever was going on with the money. And Graham Smith from Republic said, William has some explaining to do because a change of monarch and the heir is no excuse to row back on what little transparency there already is. That is a very good point. There is absolutely no reason why William's household can't provide a full set of accounts for this financial year. Well, I can think of a couple reasons why. I can think of a couple reasons why they might not want to make it public what's going on with the finances. As the receipt of public funds from the state-owned duchy, he should be reporting this income and expenditure. As duchy profits appear to be growing to a record 24 million, it's time we demanded the return of the duchies of Cornwall and Lancaster to the people and for revenue to be spent on the local communities. Amen to that. Right. Yeah, that's what's going on with royal money. So the spending doubles and William being shady with his spending. Right. Also going on over at the royal channels. So obviously Kate and William have their own Instagram pages. They posted a video for Pride, and at the end of the video, you only hear William's voice. You don't hear Kate's voice. It's just William's. So I don't know if this is something that William is doing by himself, or maybe they're going to release another video with Kate in it. But as per the video that I saw, it's a video to celebrate Pride, and it's just William's voice. These were the comments that were left. And let me just say, almost every single comment was like this. Almost every single one. I scrolled down quite a bit. The monarchy is becoming a woke left, and I am deeply disappointed in William and Kate. I never thought they would fall so low. Didn't the Queen teach William everything he needed to be a good king? If he intends to head into the same war as his father instead of protecting his people from all these drifts that endanger the safety of women and children, then the monarchy will be its own downfall. Please explain how this philosophy is not a contradiction to the teachings of the Church of England. You are disappointing. Children must be protected at all costs. Started to unfollow you. Be able to be neutral. You choose the hype Pride. Disappointing. Please do your research and uncover the truth about exploitation of children. I can't believe this. Unfollowing. You should not be making political statements or promoting that which goes against the teachings of the church. You will one day head. Would Queen Elizabeth have done this? And more. I unfollowed. Please stay neutral. Your job is outside of politics. No, I'm disappointed. Huge disappointment. Please no, stay neutral on these matters. They divide people. There's got to be a kind way to treat all people without advancing ungodly agendas. Please reconsider. All I'm going to say about this is this. When the palace decided to launch a smear campaign against Meghan, they groomed a very particular base. And, you know, people of all political persuasions have all kinds of opinions, but as a general rule of thumb, people who sway a little bit more to the right are not for progressive issues. You cannot weaponize a particular base to go after one of your family members and then support causes that base is genuinely not for. Pick a side. you wanted to use these people to attack your family member, and now you are promoting social causes that they generally disagree with. And yes, this was almost every single comment was like this on the royal page. And I wonder if they're going to be buying more bots to to make up for all of the accounts that were unfollowing. And indeed, William is walking a very, very tight rope. Because one of the other things that they have attacked Meghan for over and over and over again is supporting progressive causes. And the thing about Harry and Meghan is that they know what their values are, and they've stuck to them. They know the audience they want to reach, and they speak to them. The royals don't know who they are. They are just simply trying to stay relevant. But how do you stay relevant to people who are royalists and monarchists, who are generally a little bit more old-fashioned, and young people or people of different backgrounds that have views that are a little bit more progressive? You can't be all things to all people. And that's what they're trying to do now, and they're failing. And it's upsetting their own base. Rahini, repeat after me, guys. Money laundering. Can you say money laundering? Yeah. I think we're going to find out that there was a hell of a lot of money laundering going on. If anybody from the palace is listening, tell Charles to get a ledger. Look it up, a ledger. You can store all your crypto coins on there, and you don't have to run around taking cash money bags that everybody can see. Let's have a look. Yeah, exactly. They have 2 whole adulterers as the head of state, but please clutch your pearls at people loving who they want to love. Please. Be strong. You said, I'm not surprised that the figures increase. If, let's say, you are living in separate homes, there will be an increase on how much you spend. Exactly. If you have to get into helicopters to go from house to house, your expenditures are going to increase. Edna Joseph, thank you so much for super sticker. Much appreciated. Oh, whose birthday is it? Sonia Alexander, it's your birthday. Happy birthday to you. Thank you so much. Joyce, Yvette Davis, thank you so much for super sticker. Much appreciated. Thank you so much, everyone. Let's see. Thank you, everyone, for wishing Sonia a happy birthday. Very kind of you. Julie, desperate men do desperate things. Just stick to pruning roses. Yeah, he'll be a lot happier if you just go to the garden and prune some roses. Okay, there's that. Yeah, I don't think I had anything else to say. I will just get through your comments. You know, it's interesting to observe how over and over again the institution and the press have attacked Harry and Meghan, and here come the other royals copying, doing the same thing. The thing is, Harry and Meghan are very clear about what they are, who they support, what they support. They've never wavered. But you have an institution that's very stuffy, that's very old-fashioned, that's very traditional, who are now trying to essentially keep up with the kids. And the kids, as you can see in this picture, are not impressed. Sonia, Charles have kept the books, one ledger for the public and one for him. Indeed. Yes. Our Harry and Meghan are rock stars and everyone knows it. Cookies and Cream, you said, by the Honourable starting a heinous smear campaign against the Sussexes, particularly Meghan, has foolishly opened up a Pandora's box. It's now open season on all the Honourables, so karma has just begun. Yes, I mean, remember, they were writing articles about Meghan is going to have stuff thrown at her and they're going to get booed and all this and the third. I'm sorry, but who was getting egged all the way up until the coronation? Wasn't Harry and Meghan. It was their own king. Okay. I think that is all from me today. Happy Eid Mubarak to all of those who are observing. And I think I will end it there. Go have fun at Barron's. I need to get to sleep because tomorrow's going to be a long, long day for me. We'll see how I feel by the time I get back. Might do a podcast, might not, because it's a very, very long trip. But yeah, we'll see. Oh, okay. Before we go, Alan Vernon, do you think William is going to send Kate Rose for her birthday? Oh my goodness. I don't think Kate ever wants to see a rose ever again. A real rose, a rose print on a dress. I just don't think she wants to see roses ever. But thank you so much, Alan, for the shady super chat. And with that, I will end the podcast. Make sure you hit the thumbs up and subscribe button on your way out. See you tomorrow, maybe. Ciao. Bye.